Okay, picks. Let's do this. Let's make some money. Not off to a great start so far this season on the picks. 2-2 each of the last 2 weekends. 4-4 overall. So I'm ready to start turning a profit here. Let's start this weekend. There are only 2 games out there I see that I like. 2 games I'm having to play on. Several more games I went back and forth on, but these 2 I went with. We're going to start with the game that I like the most, because the other game, well, we'll get to it in a second. We're going to start with my favorite game of the weekend, and that is the San Diego Chargers hosting the Atlanta Falcons. San Diego installed as a 3-point favorite on BETDAQ right now. And listen, I know the Falcons have off to a great start this season. Both of these teams 2-0, obviously. And people are very high on the Falcons right now after that Monday night win over Denver. And well, they should be. They really limited that Denver offense, which looked very good in Week 1 against Pittsburgh. However, I think this is a great spot for San Diego right here. Really what clinched it for me was when I heard last night that Antonio Gates, San Diego's tight end, the best player on that offense, other than maybe Phillip Rivers, will be playing in this game, which I think is key. If Gates hadn't been playing, it would have really given me some pause here. But San Diego's really flown under the radar. Not a whole lot of people were talking about them coming into this season. Now, true, the 2 teams they've beaten, Oakland and Tennessee, not 2 of the best teams in the league, but they've looked really good. Phillip Rivers seems to have straightened out the turnover problems that plagued him last year. And I feel like the Falcons have been playing well enough, and the general opinion of the Falcons is high enough now that it's kept this line down at a nice, reasonable number. San Diego -3, so feel very good about the Chargers covering here. Falcons have some injury problems on defense. Their best cornerback, Brent Grimes, out for the season. Of course, he didn't play last week either against Manning and company, and they still won that game. Sean Weatherspoon, Falcons' best linebacker, he's questionable for this game, so not fully healthy on defense. The San Diego offense looked like a machine last week, and that was without Antonio Gates against the Tennessee Titans. So with Gates back in the fold, I expect San Diego to put up some big points in this one. And the Falcons, no doubt they'll have some success passing the ball as well. Even though I do want to mention that Chargers defense seems to be much improved these first 2 weeks under first-year defensive coordinator John Pagano. As I said, they've played Oakland and Tennessee, so a big step up in competition here this week. But San Diego does lead the league in rush defense, and they face 2 good running backs in Darren McFadden and Chris Johnson. So expect them to really make the Falcons one-dimensional in this game. Matt Ryan, Roddy White, Julio Jones, they're going to have to be the unit that beats the Chargers, and I'm just not sure they're going to be able to score enough to do it. So San Diego -3. The other game, listen, I pause here. I'm almost embarrassed to say this game. I'm almost embarrassed to put my name to this pick, but I'm betting on the game, so I've got to be honest with you here. I like the Oakland Raiders. I like the Oakland Raiders +3.5 at home this week, and the reason I'm embarrassed, the reason because I can't give you a good reason. I can't make a logical argument for Oakland in this game. Steelers are better really on every side of the ball, and I know Pittsburgh's best 2 defensive players are out, James Harrison, Troy Polamalu, but Steelers are better on offense. They're better even without those 2 guys. They're much better on defense. Now the Steelers have struggled recently on the road, 0-5 against the number in their last 5 road games. But really, what it comes down here to me here is this is my sickness. This is my sickness as a gambler, and I'm sure some of you can empathize with me, but what I see here is a line that is all out of whack. This line is fishy. This game, the Steelers should be more than a 3.5-point favorite over Oakland, no doubt about it, especially this Raiders team getting blown out by the Miami Dolphins last week, a Miami team that many thought coming into this season or after Week 1 was going to be the worst team in the league. So how will Oakland win this game? I don't know. I can't give you a good explanation. All I can tell you is they're going to win it. I did the bettors preview of this game, and I mentioned how weird the line was, how it was very fishy, similar to Oakland's game last week against the Miami Dolphins. I thought that game was fishy on the other side. I thought Oakland should have been favored by more than 1. They went and were blown out in that game. And watching that game, I thought, you know what, you've been doing this too long. You've bet on too many of these games. When you see lines that are this funny like this, they're funny like this for a reason. And so I'm going with it this week. I wasn't going to do it. I said in the bettors preview, I said I'm not betting on this game because, if I can't give a logical explanation, if I can't give any reasoning to support my play, if it's just nothing more than, hey, this line's weird and I feel like Oakland's going to win, then it seems like maybe that might not be the best thing to do. But you know what? In studying these games more this morning, I really have a strong feeling the Oakland Raiders are going to win this game. And so I thought, why not? Why not just go on really nothing more than a hunch and a strange line, and having studied these lines for a long time over the course of years, when you see something funny like this, more often than not. So I like Oakland plus 3.5 if you're looking for a good underdog money line play. I like Oakland on the money line here. I do believe they're going to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, can't give you a good explanation. Oakland does have some good pieces on offense. Carson Palmer, even though he only completed about half his passes last week, did throw for over 370 yards. He's got a couple good young wide receivers out there he can get the ball to. Darren McFadden really hasn't gotten it going this year as far as running the ball, but he's been very active in the pass game, and he looks completely healthy. So I am high on McFadden. Do think he's one of the 5 or 6 best backs in the league. Listen, I know Pittsburgh is a great defense. I know they really limited the Jets' offense last week, even though they were without James Harrison and Troy Polamalu in that game. So I don't know what else to tell you. Again, I just sort of meekly put this pick out there. I really like the other game, San Diego -3 over Atlanta. So I'm telling myself here, well, at least if Oakland loses, 500. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about making the San Diego game a 2-unit play and only putting 1 unit on Oakland. Tonight's when I actually make all these bets. So I guess I have a few hours to change my mind. So if you think I'm an idiot and you want to unconvince me of this, John@BETDAQ NFL is my email address. I will check that out before I take my ride on the casino ship tonight. Unfortunately, I cannot use a beautiful site like BETDAQ. I do, living here on the east coast of Florida, I have to board a casino boat that takes me out to international waters where I make these bets. But as of now, what I think I'm going to do, the only 2 games out here this week on Sunday I'm going to have a play on, the San Diego Chargers -3 and gulp, the Oakland Raiders plus 3.5. Join me if you're bold.